Good morning, Genesis family. Welcome to day 17, I believe, of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. I just want to offer you some encouragement. It's the final week of our 21 days. Just want to encourage you to finish strong. Whatever it is that you've chosen to fast, even if you've broken that a time or two, just recommit yourself in this final stretch to finish strong. Whatever new habits, rhythms you've been trying to create, maybe in your devotional time, maybe even praying with your kids at night, whatever it is, finish strong. Even if you've been inconsistent at best over the previous 17 days, just commit yourself. We're going to finish strong. We're going to work on habit creation, creating new rhythms, new attitudes, new habits that are going to guide us in this new year. So Sunday, we talked about the truth that if we're going to embrace change, if we're going to embrace growth, that it comes to creating a new mindset. Kind of landed around this thought that we either control our thoughts or our thoughts control us, that both theology and psychology concur, that our thoughts have a direct influence on the kind of life that we live. So if, according to the Apostle Paul, who wrote in Romans chapter 12, we're either going to be conformed to this world, we're going to think like the world, therefore we're going to act like the world, we're going to embrace the world's value systems, or we're going to be renewed, or we're going to be transformed through the renewing of our mind. And in doing so, we'll experience the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God for our life. And I think most of us as Christians would say, yeah, that's what I want. I want to embrace God's best for my life. And according to the Apostle Paul, it comes down to being committed to the renewal of our mind through the Word and through the Spirit. So we kind of landed on two action steps. The first was to identify the biggest stronghold holding you back. What is the lie? What is the thought process? Kind of what's that area of deception that keeps tripping me up, that kind of keeps me trapped into a certain way of living and thinking. And one of the reasons that we need to work to identify those things is because of what sociologists call automatices. Researchers estimate that between about 70 to 90% of what we do on a given day operates in the subconsciousness of our mind, that not through intentional thought and through intentional action, but we just kind of drift through life. It's kind of like the operating system working in the background of our mind. We don't really stop and think about something. We just do it by default. And that's really helpful in some areas, but it's also potentially unhealthy if we're operating with an unhealthy, with a misconstrued mindset. Maybe that's operating out of places of deception, just past experiences, trauma, or even the deception of the enemy. So we've got to work to identify those things. Some of the things that we do, some of the things we say, some of the way we treat other people happens because we're operating off of these default mindsets. And if we're gonna change the way we act, the way we treat people, then we've got to identify those mindsets, and with the help of the Spirit, change those mindsets so we can experience change in our life. And then we're going to name the truth that demolishes that stronghold. We're going to identify the lie, the deception, the unhealthy mindset, and we're going to replace it with something better, with God's truth, so that we can experience God's best. And real quickly this morning, I want to give you a practice that I think will help you in the process of identifying areas of unhealth in our minds, and kind of in our emotions. Nearly 400 years ago, St. Ignatius, a Jesuit priest, developed what is now commonly referred to as the daily Examen. And it's just a process at the end of the day of kind of mentally reviewing the day through a series of questions. You know, we preach all the time here about establishing a first 15. So I want to encourage you to maybe consider developing the rhythm of a final 15, kind of 15 minutes before bedtime or at the end of the night when your day's winding down, to just kind of reflect on the day. And what it does is it helps us identify mindsets and emotions and behavior patterns that are unhealthy and don't glorify God and don't lead us to places of healthy relationships. So there's no one set standard, but here's 5 potential questions to ask. 1, where did I see God today? Because we know that God is always at work in our life. We're just reflecting on the day. Where did I sense God's presence, God's activity through the day? 2, what am I thankful for? One of the biggest, most powerful mindset shifts we can make is one of gratitude, and asking the question, what am I thankful for, automatically just redirects our attention in gratitude. Instead of being focused on what I don't have, what I haven't experienced, what do I have, what have I experienced, and giving God thanks for that. Thirdly, what did I feel today? You know, oftentimes, we talked Sunday about the direct impact our thoughts have on our emotions. So as we kind of do a reflection on our emotions through the day, what did I feel? When was I angry? When was I sad? When did I feel joy? When was I the happiest? We can start making the connection between our emotions and our mindsets. Fourthly, what should I pray for? Again, just in light of the review of the day, what should I pray for? Who should I pray for? And then fifthly and lastly, how do I feel about tomorrow? Maybe you're going to bed already with negative thoughts about the next day. And instead of being able to rest and recuperate through the night, your mind's filled with stress and anxiety. So just how do I feel about tomorrow? And then identifying those areas of dread or negativity and replacing them with God's truth. Being mindful that, hey, God is with me tomorrow, that I'm not facing whatever difficulty, whatever challenge is stressing me out. I'm not facing it alone. So just a helpful practice to identify unhealthy, negative mindsets and begin to replace them with God's truth so that we can experience God's good, pleasing, and perfect will for our lives. Again, it's spiritual disciplines are given for our benefit. They are the gifts of God for our good, but we've got to engage in them. We've got to develop the rhythms of incorporating them into our life. Love you guys. Pray that you have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you Thursday night at our final night of worship as part of this 21 days of prayer and fasting, believing God to do incredible things. Have a great day.